Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Mishal Saeed, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies really driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Joni Goodman, the founder and principal of JDG Advisors, joining us. Based in Houston, Texas, Joni brings over 20 years of experience in learning and development, from her roles at BP and Cisco to founding a consultancy that empowers organizations and individuals through transformational coaching, facilitation, and public speaking. We'll explore her founding story, how JDG Advisors is driving organizational change, and really her vision for scaling this dynamic firm. So let's dive in. Joni, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you, Michelle. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So let's kick things off with the listeners. Take us back to the beginning. What specific problem within the leadership and organizational development landscape, perhaps around ineffective change management or lack of emotional intelligence, actually inspired you to start JDG Advisors?
Yeah, so it was really around self-awareness and that there is a perception that people have that they are aware, but by and large, the research shows that there's a very small percentage of people who are self-aware. And
Mm-hmm.
I myself felt like I had been on that journey because I'm actually a biochemist by trade. And now I am a master trainer, engaging facilitator, coach, author, and do programs for women in STEM. And so that wasn't necessarily what I thought I was going to be doing with my career. And as I went on that journey, I discovered that I gained a lot of awareness and I wanted to help others to be able to do that quicker so that they could get on the path that they really desire to be on for their life.
Love that. Love that. Now, let's get into the nuts and bolts for the listeners, even potential clients of yours that are tuning in. Would love for you to walk us through, exactly how JDG Advisors generates revenue today. What's your core offer? I know you offer transformational coaching, there's facilitation, professional development. How do you structure what you do for some of the clients that you work with?
Yeah, absolutely. So, JDG Advisors is in the business of helping you to break through to a better you. And we do that through facilitation, professional leadership development, coaching, and then, as I mentioned, programs for women in STEM as well. And then later this month, I'm actually adding author to my repertoire as well. I'm getting ready to publish my first book.
Wow.
How I structure that is I do facilitation through board retreats, strategic planning, team building. And then professional development really falls under the category of what people refer to as soft skills, but I like to refer to them as competency-based skills.
Mhm.
And so I call myself a quote unquote assessment junkie because there are a number of instruments that are out there that can help you as individuals, as teams, as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as coaches to become more self-aware. And therefore, when you become aware of yourself, you can be more emotionally intelligent and how you interact with others as well. I have a variety of workshops, and one that is called Repel Breakthrough to a Better You, where I introduce a framework of 5 R's that can help you to be on your way to having that breakthrough. And a breakthrough is not something that it's a one and done. A breakthrough is something that you have multiple times over and over again in your personal and professional life. And then I also provide coaching, as I mentioned. And last year I spent the entire year becoming a woman-centered coach. And so coaching is the support that helps to encourage you to take a step into your discomfort zone. And then as of 2023, started doing programs specifically geared for women. And again, that ties back to my journey as a woman in STEM.
Yeah.
As women leaders, our journey is different, but especially in the STEM field where it is a very male dominated space, and this would apply to anybody who's working in that kind of arena,
Mm.
is being able to get the coaching and the support and stand firmly in what you believe in and be able to express your opinions. And not that our male counterparts don't have a place, they absolutely do. We just all need to be able to work better together and understand and be aware of the nuances that are associated with each of our journeys.
Love that. So, from what it sounds like, you've pretty much diversified a lot of what you're offering right now in terms of doing some one-on-one coaching. There's also some of that facilitation, the workshops, some assessments here at play. Now, in terms of like really a core revenue driver for the business right now, where does that seem to be at? Is it like the one-on-one coaching? Is it a lot of the programming that you're doing in a group style session? Like, what's really driving the revenue in the business?
I would say the top revenue generator is the facilitation, and that aligns perfectly with me and who I am and what I enjoy most is the facilitation. And then closely followed by that would be the one-on-one coaching, as well as the specific programming for women in STEM.
Got it. So from what it sounds like, a lot of what you're doing is really focused on being hands-on, like really working with your clients and really customizing a lot of that customer journey. Walk us through that. If you can map out what, success would look like for someone who does come through the process from like day one and then after like day 60, day 90, what do some of those outcomes look like typically within that actual client engagement?
Yeah. So what success looks is really different and very individualized for each person, but I can share a story that comes to mind as you were posing that question is one of my coaching clients who happens to also be one of the women who went through my Encounter You luxury women's experience as well.
Yeah.
As a result of that, and she actually we met through a facilitation opportunity,
Yeah.
and she has just gotten promoted.
Hmm.
And it was just announced today. She works for a big company here in Houston. And prior to the start of us working together, she was very discouraged and feeling like her work didn't matter
Hmm.
and that people were not acknowledging or recognizing her efforts. And
Yeah.
that was at work, but it started to translate even into her personal life as well with friends and family. And
Hmm.
now that is completely shifted because what she realized is that people were seeing that, and the biggest person that wasn't was her. She was
Hmm.
not seeing it. She was not seeing her success. She was not able to advocate and promote herself. But since she's been able to deal with some of those limiting beliefs and barriers,
Yeah.
that has already, just in 6 months of working together, led to her getting promoted and starting to take the steps of where she really wants to be in her life.
Wow. Wow. What an incredible story right there. I'm sure once this episode airs, she'll probably tune in and recognize herself at working with you. That's incredible. Now, we've had a lot of guests on here who have run very similar models of fulfillment in terms of one on one coaching, really working hands on with their clients. And they often find it's like difficult to scale without sacrificing the quality. How have you thought about scaling and offer productization, especially as you as a founder, you're probably going to be focusing on more of those higher level decisions? Walk us through some of the ways that you're thinking about the scalability as you're looking to grow the company.
One of the things that has been a paramount for me from the very beginning, because I started my company in Houston, Texas, where I relocated to in 2013, and I did not know one single person when I
Mm,
moved here. And I'm from a small town in southern Indiana. I didn't relocate from there, but I was essentially starting over.
mm,
And so that was my personal life. And then when I started my company, it was similar. So something that has been paramount for me is making sure that you build meaningful connections and that you are able to relate to other
mm,
people. And therefore, my business has really been built on referrals and
mm,
people having a positive experience with me and telling someone else about that experience.
mm.
And then they may find their way to me as an individual or through their company. So, really, referrals and building those meaningful connections and being able to have other people relate to you and you be able to relate to them is really instrumental.
Got it. So from what it sounds like, you're essentially leveraging the power of referrals for acquiring a lot of your clients right now and really getting in those rooms right now as well. Now, because you're doing a lot of coaching hands-on from a fulfillment perspective, how are you approaching the evolution of your offer changing or productizing it in a way so that it is a little bit more scalable? Walk us through sort of your experience in navigating that as you're looking to take the company to the next level in terms of growth.
Yeah. So transitioning from just the one-on-one coaching model to doing group coaching as well, having that situation of coaching one-to-one and also coaching one-to-many,
Yeah.
and then also creating more offers. So in the beginning, when I started, because of where I came from in my corporate experience, I
Mm,
had a lot of certifications and different sales training methodologies and assessments that I mentioned. And I spent the last 5 years being one of Brene Brown's certified Dare to Lead facilitators as well. So I did all of that to really get that experience because that is what I desire to do in my business is to be able to create my own programs, to have my own book with my own keynote presentation and my own workshops. And so
Mm.
that's how I've been scaling as well, is to host workshops where there are multiple people or hundreds of people that can even come, or presentations, and
Yeah.
offering that at conferences and meetings and with nonprofits.
Love that. Now, building on all of your growth, would love to learn a little bit more about your approach to acquisition. What are some of those strategies, whether it is like LinkedIn? I know you're doing a lot on the referral side as well, organic marketing, paid ads. Like, what's been the most effective so far for landing clients for consulting services in addition to referrals?
So, in addition to referrals, definitely having a social media presence. I certainly do not put all of my eggs in that basket, because the other thing that's really important, building on those meaningful connections and having those relationships, is having an email list that you
Mm.
can connect with. And also getting out there and seeing the people and meeting them for coffee. When we went through the pandemic and COVID,
Yeah.
we started this remote life because we had to. And gratefully, we have this technology that we can connect in this way. But you are never going to replace actually being in the same energetic space with someone. So getting out there and networking, having coffees, lunches, but also nurturing that email list and providing them valuable content, not just making it about always selling something,
Yeah.
but having that value add.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely presenting use case ideas, half-baked ideas on, hey, this is what's going to work in terms of really how you want to approach certain things. And that's where the trust is usually built, right? So you can create a lot more of like even that problem awareness, although you're not directly selling necessarily to that individual. So love that. Looks like you're utilizing your LinkedIn platform for a lot of that social content. Now, in terms of like really on the referral side, referrals are super powerful in terms of them being almost like the warmest leads. Oftentimes, it's not the most automated approach when it comes to lead gen and like creating more of that consistent predictability. How are you navigating that as like a business owner? What are some of those ways you're looking at building more predictability, more consistency with generating more leads on the fly as you focus on some other areas of growing your business?
Yeah, so again, I feel like I'm beating the dead horse, but it's really around those meaningful connections. And one other area that I have meaningful connections is through a mastermind group that
Mm.
I'm a part of, which is also differing levels of tenure and experience
Yeah.
of female business owners,
Mm.
and getting them to be your eyes and ears and mouthpiece when you're not there as well, knowing what you offer and what you can bring and the value that you can bring to someone else. That's
Mm.
really important as well. And also seeing each other in a real and raw environment, talking through business challenges,
Yeah.
celebrating successes together. So a mastermind I would highly recommend as well. And that has also been a great referral source and an opportunity for growth as well.
Nice, love that. Now, in addition to referrals, are you doing anything on the paid ad side? Have you looked into utilizing paid ads? Anything with automating your outreach as well, with just like scaling?
So I have dabbled in that a little bit with doing some paid ads, but I don't feel like it has made a big difference as far as being able to connect with people. When I have hosted some workshops, I have gotten some business that way. But as far as really being a driver of scaling, I wouldn't necessarily say that the paid advertisements, at least right now, in my offerings, has not been the most successful route for me personally in what I do.
Got it. Now, in terms of like your approach to sales, would love to learn a little bit more about that. When someone does come in, let's say they are a referral or they maybe see some of your content on LinkedIn, what are some of those strategies that are most effective to convert them into actual long-term clients? Are you doing this on your own right now, just as a one-woman show, or do you have maybe like a team in place as well, involved in some of those conversations or doing some of that outreach?
So I would say that yes, there are some people that have supported me in some facilitation, and there are other female business owners that are in this space, and we collaborate on
Yeah.
larger engagements together, which is really important. And I would say that it is really again about those connections with people and really getting to know them and who they are, and not just going in. And I was a sales trainer for many years in medical device as well. So really being able to conceptually understand where the client is before you're going in and making your offer. And
Mm.
also being really honest
Mm.
whenever you may not be the best solution. for
Right.
them, and
Yeah.
being more consultative and letting them know, maybe you know someone who is, or if you don't, letting them know that you will do some research and get back to them. But
Mm.
making sure that you are also aligning where it is that you can bring value to them.
100%. Yeah, definitely taking more of that consultative approach, really offering a lot of that value and finding that alignment as you best said, right? So that it feels like a partnership more than it being
Yes.
transactional. So from what it sounds like, your growth's been pretty incredible. There is a bottleneck that stands out. What would it be? Is it attracting some of the right types of ICP that you'd want to work with, improving maybe even the conversions, right? As you do have people coming through your platform, what are you most focused on solving to keep all of the momentum going into this year?
Wow. I think it is, since I've started my business, I've kept, and that was in 2016. So I'm at year 9, getting ready to forward think about celebrating my 10-year anniversary, and have seen lots of ups and downs with the economy. I started in the midst of an oil and gas downturn. And a couple of years after that, we had Hurricane Harvey here.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years after that, we had the pandemic. Resiliency is really important.
Mm.
But the other thing that I think, now that I am getting some tenure in my business, is to further niche down.
Mm.
So you can't be everything to everyone. And I knew that from the beginning, and I still know that. But really getting clarity about niching down so that the market and customers are clear about your offering and where you can provide value, and that there's not confusion.
Got it. So when you say like niching down, is that more so focusing on like a specific vertical of like specific types of clients so that you can exactly like pinpoint, hey, this is the right type of person that can come through the process? If you could help the listeners understand a little bit more about that, we'd love to learn more about strategically how you're approaching that now as like you're looking to take the company to another level.
Yes. So I think it is in the beginning, when you first, as an entrepreneur, when you first start your business, you're looking to generate business, right? And so you're open to all opportunities and eventualities.
Mm.
And not that I'm not now,
Mm.
but what happens as you get some experience and some years in your company is you hear from clients that they're not clear about what you offer,
Mm.
because maybe it is coaching, maybe it is facilitation, maybe it is training, maybe it is women's programs. Getting clarity about what specifically lights me up and brings me joy, and I know that I can add tremendous value through
Mm.
this, but also not making it too narrow that then you're bored as an entrepreneur. Because that's one of the things that I really enjoy about being an entrepreneur, is being able to dabble in all those different verticals. Maybe it is the process that I'm going through is more of a client specific thing, and being able to offer still the facilitation and the training and the coaching, but narrowing down specifically to the types of clients that I know that I can help and I can provide value to.
Love it. Now, when did you realize that, hey, this is now the time for us to look into niching down and really focusing in on one core type of client? Like, when did that realization occur to you, just as you were like focusing more on like fulfillment and looking at things on the acquisition side? Talk to us a little bit more about that.
It was probably within the last couple years. And when I started adding in my own programming, like the program for women, I just launched Encounter You in 2023. And prior to that, since 2020, I had been Dare to Lead facilitator. Now, that wasn't the only thing that I did, but everyone was crystal clear about that offering.
Yeah.
And then when I started layering on the program for women, it
Mm.
started to feel like the waters got a little muddy.
Mm.
And then I learned through that launch
Mm.
about some best practices to do with the book
Yeah.
and the keynote presentation and the workshop that's coming with that.
Mm.
So that is really what gave me the inkling and the realization that
Mm.
there was some confusion.
Mm. Okay, now that makes sense. Really, with everything you're looking to do now this year, your vision and your growth, I would love for you to paint that picture for us as you look to take JDG Advisors into that next level of growth. What does the rest of 2025 look like? Do you have any performance milestones, any specific revenue targets you're looking to hit? Paint that picture for us.
Yeah, so what that looks like is really a successful book launch,
Mm.
since this is my first book, and being able to get out and deliver that interactive keynote presentation, and then later in the year to launch the workshop that goes with that as well. And I'm modeling that exactly from my past experience with programs that I did and were structured inside of corporate, and then also with my experience as a Dare to Lead facilitator as well.
Love that. Now, a couple last questions as we wrap up. Want to get a bit hypothetical here. We ask every guest on the podcast, if you had a genie in the room, you rub the lamp, and now you have all these unlimited resources, what would you implement immediately to accelerate the growth of your business?
What I would implement immediately is more time for creativity. And when you are a business owner and you're a solopreneur with maybe some 1099 support helping you with some of the things, and coming from the corporate world of really being overworked and burnout, being able to take a step back and really do less and have more time for creativity and inspiration, I know that will equip me with being my best self. And me being my best self is going to be the best for my clients as well. So being able to have more time for creativity and inspiration.
Amazing, incredible. Now, last question as we wrap up for the listeners, entrepreneurs, founders looking to follow in your footsteps. If you can share like one tool or resource, maybe a coaching strategy or an emotional intelligence trick that's been a game changer for your business, share with us, I guess, like some of those tools, resources, any like best piece of advice you would have.
Yes. I have three things that I would offer. One is never say never. As a biochemist turned master trainer, now entrepreneur and business owner, never say never with whatever your background is or your experience is. And then also no limits. So I have to give credit to Sarah Blakely and Dr. Wayne Dyer, because he has an audiobook that is called How to Become a No Limit Person. And she used those strategies when she was launching Spanx. And I have listened to that. It was an audiobook originally, or cassette tapes, actually. It's now an audiobook. And it's really about don't put limits on yourself and don't let others put limits on you. And then the third thing is give yourself permission to break through to a better you many times over in your business, personally and professionally.
Love that. Love that. On that note, that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Joni, thank you so much for hopping on and sharing your incredible journey and insights with us thus far. From leading learning and development at other organizations, now you've founded JDG Advisors to empower organizations and individuals with transformational coaching, and you're doing the workshops as well and launching your book. So we're excited to follow the journey along as you head into this year. To our listeners, if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find some more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class sales systems. Until then, everyone, keep climbing, and we'll see you all on the next one.